don't know if I could get any better light anywhere. Um, we'll have to play with it in editing. Anyway, it's 20 minutes to 6. I've been up since 5. Well, actually, I woke up at 5. Rolled out of the sleeping bag about 5:10, 5:15. I don't know. I didn't look at my watch. But I had to avail myself of the necessarium. And just decided to stay up. No point climbing back in. I got some coffee water cooking. I think we're going to have the old Pop-Tarts for breakfast this morning. It was a good night last night. There's a couple of interesting. There's a huge crash and some splintering of wood. I'm going to check that out when it gets a little more light. I have no idea what that was about. And then that happened a little after midnight. And then about 3 o'clock in the morning, this really loud, it sounded like a bird, except it sounded unlike any other bird I've heard. And it actually sounded like it was artificially amplified. So I'm thinking some young people from one of the houses around here recorded a bird call and played around with the sound and amplified it through some speakers. I had heard some music earlier in the evening, and it sounded like it was coming from the direction of one of the houses around here. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some kids fooling around. Other than that, it was a good night. Lots of little scurrying and scampering on the tin roof and underneath, but you know, it's their habitat. So, and at one point, I did smell the odor of a skunk. So I don't know what that was about. Some unfortunate soul, I guess, cornered a skunk and got the consequences of it. So I'm sure there were skunks around, pawing through the leaves looking for grubs and stuff. So it was an interesting night, but it was restful. I was sound asleep for a good period of time until that ungodly loud noise at 3 o'clock. And then after about 20 minutes, I drifted back off to sleep and then woke up at 5, which is about when I normally wake up at home anyway. So good morning, and I'll touch base with you again when it's time to hit the trail. It's about 20 minutes of 8 on Sunday morning, and we're all packed up and ready to go. Only thing left to do is strap the pack on and hit the trail. Make sure I remember to take that camera. All in all, try not to get you too dizzy here. This was a good trip. I'm glad I got out here. This Outback Inn shelter in the Italy Hill State Forest. Actually, I think the shelter's actually in a county forest, but the sign for the state forest is like 25 feet that way. It's still a public forest. Somebody put a really nice effort into building this thing. We've got the sawhorse there, a couple of saws, and you know, I did say something about a nice bow saw would be nice to have, but that saw did the job, got it done. The construction on this thing is impressive. I mean, this is real timber frame stuff. This isn't just things that were thrown together to make it look like it was timber frame. They actually put in some effort to build this thing solidly. It's very nice. And there's about 3 camp chairs, looks like 2 adult-sized chairs and 1 child chair. And for those of you that are curious, no, I did not use the child chair. I'm short, but not that short. You know, so people have left behind some toilet paper, Not that that may, I don't know if that'll be here if you guys come to visit, but somebody was nice enough to do that. There's some plastic cups over there which came in handy. I'd used one, used the same one every time to get water because the water level in the creek was so low. So keep that in mind if you're going to come down this way, that you'll need some way to scoop the water out of the creek or use a pump filter. So this is very nice setup. And I'd highly recommend it. It's not a difficult hike in by any means. It's a good weekend trek or even just an overnight trek, especially if you're in better shape than I am. So that's it for now. I'll probably be taking some other footage while I'm on the trail, just to show you some of the things that I walked through on the way in. I was in a push to get here at a reasonable time when I came in. Since it's so early and I'm leaving, I can be a little bit more casual on the way out and take some time to set up some shots. So kudos to whoever built this shelter and whoever's been maintaining it. You're doing an awesome job. And I did leave enough firewood for the next group to come by, as my way of saying thank you for making this resource available. See you on the trail. All right, we're almost 2/10 of a mile away from the shelter. I just wanted to show you this part because coming down this way, the trail does veer off to the left. It looks like it may go straight, but it doesn't. But the trail veers off to the left, and this is also the way to get to the watering hole. So we'll go down this way, and I'll show you. I have to go this way anyway to get back to the car. So it's not like it's going out of my way at all. I just have to be careful to watch my step and not watch the viewfinder so much. So it's a little rugged coming down here, especially with the pack on. It was kind of rugged coming up the other night too. You know, after working in the morning and driving for a couple hours, and yeah, this is the getting to the end of the trail. I was like, I gotta go uphill. It wasn't bad though. So there's the stream. There's a couple of pools you can tell down that way. I didn't go that far down. I suppose you could if you wanted to. So we're gonna carefully wend our way down. Got a little bit of a damp section here. Looks like there's a seasonal sort of stream that comes in and feeds over here. So we'll mind our step on these stones and come up here, and this is about the area where I usually got my water. There's a couple of pools right here that are just deep enough to get the cup in and not pick up any sediment, though if you stir it up enough you'll get sediment. I'm gonna have to rinse out the water bladder when I get home. But this is it. This is where I procured my 6 liters of water. It's nice, and this must be pretty cool to see in the springtime when we get the runoff. And we'll proceed on up the other side and head on back to the car. When we get to the top, there's a little campsite. I'll probably turn the camera back on and let you see it. So until then, all right, ta-ta. A little winded. But here's that other site that I was telling you about. I'm thinking this may have been where the young fella stops for the night. Take a look. And when I came by before, this had leaves in it. So I'm thinking those 4 young fellas that came probably came up here and spent the night. Nice little tent area there. And it's not too far from water, so and these stones are moved too. When I came up the other night, these stone piles were set up around the campfire ring, so I imagine they relocated them to suit their own purposes, which is perfectly fine. So not quite as luxurious as the shelter by any means, but still a very nice tent site. So that's that. When I see anything else interesting, I'll come back and touch base with you. Well, it's about 8:30, and we're at another significant waypoint. If you look at the trail description online, and I'll put the links for all that stuff in the description when I upload the video. But this is the abandoned section of Pulver Road. If you were to keep heading back this way, we'd come out to, well, we'll come out to the area where it begins to be abandoned, and I'll show you that when we get there. But this is a significant milestone. It was a good help to me on the way in because I was starting to get a little tired, and so I looked at the printout of the description and the map and said, oh, it's just a little bit less than a mile. So it's about 8/10 of a mile, maybe a little bit more from here to the Outback Inn. And there's my pack on the ground. I have a confession to make. I'm a complete idiot. This is the way the trail comes in. I left the GorillaPod on the bottom of the camera thinking, oh, it'll be convenient. Next time I want to film something, I just turn the camera on, grab the GorillaPod, and it seems to be much steadier than holding the body of the camera with my hands. Well, I got here and went to grab the GorillaPod and discovered, oh, it's not there. So, complete idiot. One of those folks that they write those books for, that's me. It was every bit of a half a mile back to, I had a feeling I knew where it happened, and it was right in that same vicinity. There was a blowdown that I had to scramble over, and I had a feeling that it came off right in that area. And sure enough, I got back there and it had. So note to self, don't leave the GorillaPod screwed to the bottom of the camera, because the screw will work itself loose and boom. Well, but so Pulver Road, we'll see it again. Hopefully, well, it's about another mile to get there, so it'll be, the rate I'm going, presuming no further mishaps, 20 minutes to a half an hour. So, beautiful day for walking though. Just touching base with you again. This is another abandoned section of Pulver Road. We'll follow this probably for another quarter of a mile till we come to a gate. And then we'll get to the traveled portion of Pulver Road. All right, and here we are. There's the gate. Follow it around to the right, and then down the road about a quarter of a mile or so, and you'll see a sign showing where the trail veers off to the right. This kind of weaves in and out of private property, so be very careful and very considerate of the area where you're walking. We'll walk up here a little ways. This is a parking area for those that want to use the Finger Lakes Trail. Don't park by the gate. That's someone's driveway. So they probably get a little upset if you block their driveway in. But this looks plenty big enough. And it's out of the way, out of traffic. So we'll go down the road, maybe 50 yards, 75 at the most, and the trail will veer off to the woods on the right. So from here it's back over to Dunn Road and then out to the parking lot where the car is. I'll touch base with you when I get to Dunn Road, because that's kind of a rugged section too, and it's vertical. So when I get to the bottom of Dunn Road there, I'll check in with you, and then a final check-in once we get back to the parking lot. All right, so here I am back at the abandoned part of Old Dunn Road. So this is looking level, right? And that's looking up at the plane of the road. So it's fairly vertical. It's very eroded, as you can tell by the washout, which is probably why this part's been abandoned. Well, one of the reasons. At any rate, at this point, let's see, it's about 25 minutes after 9. I'd say I'm maybe a half a mile from the car tops.
Finally back at the car. I've got the windows closed because it's actually cooler in a car than it is outside. I parked in the shade. Car's fine. I'm fine. It's about 10 minutes to 10. I've been here for, about 10 minutes. I had to get the pack off, get my wallet out, and all that kind of stuff, get a drink of water. So all in all, about a 2-hour walk out, and that includes that having to backtrack a half a mile to get this to Silly Gorilla Pod. So anyway, good trip. I learned a few things. I'm glad to be back out here at it again, and already starting to plan my backpacking trip in August. I'm anticipating September, October, and November, and then December, January, and February. Probably not, possibly March, depending upon. So anyway, enough of that. Time to get home, get showered, and get some lunch.